Hello, welcome back to the second episode of The Hair Show. We are in this beautiful space in Farringdon. It's called the Hunter Collective. Today I am joined with Dom Lehane and Suzzanne Alphonse.
Hi.
Good. Hey, we're back. Episode 2.
Very
and what more
exciting.
of us? And as you just said, we are here in the Hunter Collective. So big shout out to Lacey Hunter and the team. This space, by the way, I hope that you guys get a real feel of the environment we're sat in, because this is a members only club for freelance hairdressers. And it's just a awesome space to be in. You can probably see behind us, we have the streets of Farringdon going on. But you may have noticed we have someone missing today.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah, we've got Jordana Cabela, our host from last time. Don't worry, she's not disappeared. She's not suddenly been booted off the show. She is feeling absolutely miserable. But good things come out of bad things, because we have got the lovely Suzzanne Alphonse.
You got it right, yeah.
Every time I see Suzzanne, we've done a...
I know, it's weird, yeah.
I kept calling that Alphonse, but anybody knows.
It does have a ring to it.
It does actually, doesn't it?
It's got a ring to it.
It's more natural, yeah.
So come on then, give us a little bit of heads up on this, Suzzanne.
So I'm a colourist, hairdresser by trade, and I found myself recently in the Weller head office doing something really remarkable actually, sort of translating the global trends into hairdresser language. Because I think, the heart of product is being able to comprehend how to use it and getting excited about it, and I feel really lucky that I can enable hairdressers in a more creative way.
And how much hair are you actually doing in this role?
So it's kind of split really. So I find myself using some products ahead of time. The sort of secret box comes in and you're like, what is happening with this? And and get to try it and just understand how it's going to work for the UK and Ireland.
It sounds a brilliant job.
Do you know what? I'm very lucky. I find myself thinking, how did I get here?
But I think this is always stuff, and again, we're giving reference to the podcast, How to Cut It. But that is what I love, I think, for people to know about the industry and about these opportunities that exist.
Definitely.
It's incredible, really.
I mean, that's what I just find so exciting about this industry. It's salon life with the bread and butter of your kind of how you build up and how you understand your craft. But then it's just where your trajectory takes you, and it's who you meet, and so
many different branches.
So many, and like what you've been doing, how you've grown your career. Like if you were to say to your mum 10 years ago, I want to be a hairdresser, they'd have been like, oh no. Whereas now...
No, that's right. And even sitting here, and I think we mentioned this, didn't we, last time, Tegan, about actually having a YouTube show that talks about the hair industry. You just wouldn't have predicted it.
No.
I think that's a fantastic thing about what we're doing here, is it kind of educates people on the hair industry, and that it's not just doing sets of highlights.
And I think we talk about actually promoting the industry afar, and I think hopefully ways like this will really help promote the industry for young people. Not looking at guys like you
and celebrate it. Really stand up there and say this is a career you want to go into, because it's just
That's brilliant. Well, look, as always with the hair show, I'd like to just drop a little bit into some of the new things that's going on in February 2019. And, just some bits that one thing that I just wanted to bring to the attention of everybody was David Beckham.
What about David Beckham?
Oh,
David Beckham has gone grey. I mean, what do you personally feel about grey? In people going naturally.
Well, he's going naturally grey.
He is sporting a look with grey, who is a style icon of many generations. And is this sort of are people becoming more comfortable with being grey?
I don't know. I think it's just because there's the whole grey trend has become a little bit more normal. So even though my mum's gone grey now, I've gotten
I know, I was looking at you a little bit. That's cool. You've kind of embraced that.
This last time, didn't we, in the show? And that's why I wanted to bring it up, because we talked about grey in the last one, and I've touched base with it again because it's a fella. And I think having a guy, and I know later on in the show we're going to have Daniel Granger going to be joining us, and we're going to be talking about baldness within men. So I think just a little bit of focus.
But it's a whole new topic, like just even men's hairdressing in general, and like fashionable things with men's hairdressing. I think is really interesting.
I think with grey hair, there's so many levels in which it can enter your life now, and I think you know, I've had clients where they've had a trauma when they were younger and it's left an area of grey hair and, you know, they don't know how to manage it. And guys don't want to talk about it either. No. Again, if, you know, like we think about, especially with Daniel Granger coming on and talking about male pattern baldness, and alopecia is a big thing. You know, how we live our lives now, we're so stressed. Like men experience things and maybe they don't put it down to something medical. They just think, oh, that just happens.
And I'm going to just mention, before we move off the grey subject, but it almost seems a slightly different thing for a bloke to be grey.
Yeah.
Than maybe a female?
Well, so I've got this theory. You're going to laugh at this. I think white wine is like a woman. Yeah. We go flat quite quickly with old age. And men are like a red wine. You know, they mature and they get better with age. And I think David Beckham sporting this grey hair is like, it's just an Africa. I feel like men out there can be able to like strip off their jackets now and celebrate for the first time because it's kind of at the forefront of what's happening.
I'd love to know what our viewers think of the wine analogy of men and women. I mean,
did you make that yourself?
I did. It's been enough.
I'm going to use that.
It is a good one. But yeah, great. I think it's a generation that's feeling comfortable about embracing grey, and I think you're right, as it's come off the back of the grey kind of trend.
Yeah.
What about you, Suzzanne? What are you noticing on the news world?
Fashion week happening in New York, and you know, for me as a hairdresser, this is where we're kind of starting to look to for where we're going to be progressing with our clients. And also it's interesting because of how consumers start to pick up Fashion Week and how they interpret what's happening. So it's kind of, I have to start thinking about, okay, how am I going to start, you know, planting that seed with my clients, and also how are they going to be asking for it? And I think that's always an interesting conversation between you and the consumer when they see something bold on a Marc Jacobs show that's been coloured by, you know, Josh Wood. How are you going to be wearing that in 6 months' time? So is that something that
you usually look out for? Like every Fashion Week and stuff like that, do you like study the hair and do you think of ways that you can like do that for your clients? Or but yes, also for you, because of your job role, it's all entwined. It's all
definitely. And you know, for all of us, it's not just colour. It's like I always look to where the ponytail's placed to see where that era is going to influence.
We always see the ponytails though on Fashion World, and this is the thing that I notice every time I look at the latest trends coming out of Fashion Week. I find it quite boring. Because it's always style and dress. I want to see some haircuts.
Yeah.
I want to see some colour.
Wet look. Always wet look.
How many people are the everyday person goes around sporting wet look?
Wet look, yeah. You're right. It is that, but it's hard, isn't it? Because I suppose you've got these designers that are wanting to celebrate their clothes, and you know what you're wearing today, Tegan, is just amazing. And like
the average sort of,
you know, the Sunday look. But your hair goes with it. But it's sort of how do you translate that message on stage and not overpower it with the hair? So I guess a reliable ponytail is...
And I think what's really interesting, I know I had a talk to Zoe Irwin recently on understanding UK trends, but actually, how do we get trends? Where do trends really come from? Is it guided
Zeitgeist
by Fashion Week, or is it guided by music? Is it guided by just street?
I think it's where you go for individually to find it, because, you know, being in London, it's just there's all these like micro trends that's turning around so quickly. But I suppose maybe gone are the days when some people, for the younger generations, look to Fashion Week. Maybe that's how I designed that trend. But, you know, some people are out on the street, so their idea of trend is a completely different space. And, you know, especially speaking with Zoe and working with her, it's even just interiors, nails, makeup, there's just so much that the market's just saturated with what is the trend. But that I think it goes back to David Beckham almost and going, what do I believe in? What is it that represents what I want to do? And that's a trend, I think.
Come on then, very quickly to finish on trends. So we've got, by the way, Lance Lowe coming on. We're going to be talking about Session World, which is going to be fantastic. Love the background. You cannot beat it. Lovely little sound going. So we have Lance Lowe coming onto the show, and he's going to be talking about being a session stylist, which links in
perfectly.
But before we come on to your news story, trend prediction. One trend prediction for our viewers.
Oh, can I go?
Should we come back to you then?
Yeah.
Well, I think I said this in the last one, but it just keeps becoming more and more apparent. Is creative haircuts. Let me get my words out. Just because I'm like every day I do at least one mullet. And I think I just
I've seen your mullet.
Yeah, yeah.
Mullet.
And because, like you say, it's always like ponytails and stuff like that. Yeah. But I think in the past few years, haircuts have not been a very creative thing. It's always been very colour heavy. But now we're coming into a different era where I think people are starting to be a little bit more creative in their style. And I'm excited by that.
I think so.
Get the razor out.
I would love to see a little bit more return to haircuts.
Yeah.
I think a colour, you might go with this, actually, Suzzanne. I think coral seems to be one I keep hearing.
Well, yeah, living coral.
Living
Pantone,
coral?
yeah.
Okay. Probably a lot of our hairdressing friends would know of this.
Yeah.
But I think for the general public, they're probably thinking, well, where is it? But that's what I'm hearing a lot. What is that colour, by the way? I don't.
So it's got like a peachy warm undertone, and there's, the way Pantone describe it's really exciting. But I mean, it's not a colour that you're going to find every day consumers coming in for.
We can maybe flash up an image of a coral. So, we'll show you a look at the coral so you can see what we're talking about. What have you got for us then, Tegan?
So, as hairdressers, probably know all about this. I don't know if you guys have seen the Lee Stafford drama on ITV. I think we've got a clip, so if you guys haven't seen it, let's watch it.
Shall we just hook into that? So we're going to have a look at this clip that Tegan's talking about with Lee Stafford.
Yeah.
Well, let's have a look at Molly this morning. This is Molly without her ombre. So that I'd say that you're brunette?
Yes. Yeah.
Brunette. Okay, and here you are now.
Oh my God.
This is really easy, actually.
Is it?
Much easier than highlighting. We'll show you how we did it. You take some ponytails around the front of the head.
Yeah.
Just a few around the back to get the balance. You then back comb them ponytails. So when you put the product on, you're not colouring the whole ponytail. It's more diffused.
Okay.
You then put more product on the ends and less as you work through the mid-length. So again, you get that
more
diffusion.
On the ends, right?
Yes, so you get that diffusion. And the other hot tip is when you start at the front, use your eye as a guide and then slope it down. So what I mean is the next ponytail, do it a bit lower. Okay. So you don't get them hard lines. Do you think you could have done that yourself, really?
100%,
It was easy, wasn't it?
Yeah, really, really
And then
easy.
the important thing to do with these kits, because we use the bleach kits, to tone it at the end. Because when you use a bleach, sometimes it could be quite raw, the colour. It could be quite yellow. So the toner just kicks out that yellow.
So...
Anyone? Any takers on this?
I mean, I know... I think Lee did get a really tough time on this. I think it depends on how you want to look at this. I think from a hairdressing point of view, hairdressers, they were up in arms about it. Probably for some consumers, they're probably thinking, that's what I want to see. So how do you feel about it, Suzzanne?
Do you know, it is really tough because you know that consumers are colouring their hair. It's not like it's a backstreet market. Like, everyone's doing it. And if they can maybe get a couple of tips to help them make it better, it's good. But at the same time, we didn't train for years to be a hairdresser.
Especially something specifically like balayage as well.
Yeah.
Like, even in the video, there were hairdressers doing that for them. There was like 3 people doing it. And I think it also comes down to the health and safety thing.
Yeah.
Like, people don't understand that bleach is one of the most damaging products legally you're allowed to use on your hair.
And I think, personally, the model they chose was a no-no because, we saw the before picture. She had quite healthy-looking hair from root to tip.
Absolutely.
Now, if we think about all the trends that have been happening with aggressive bleaching on the ends and people going, me, I want to be white blonde.
Yeah.
What if I'd already had 40 volts through my ends?
There's no education
and then I'm going back over that. Where's that part of the education to, it falling off in the basin?
And I think the other bit that came over in there, and what a lot of people spoke about, was actually it wasn't being done by the model,
by the model,
herself, which is what he was saying.
And I mean, even the aftershot, the styling, you couldn't see what it looked like because it's curled.
It should have been straight. Yeah,
I've done that before when the tone was a little bit dodgy. Quick, put a curl through it. Fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it is very, very difficult. And actually, the people that maybe are going to go and do this at home, are they really going to be the people that are going to go to the salon anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I think there is a bit of that. And I will just say, in defence of Lee, because I like that.
Absolutely,
I think Lee Stafford was, yes, he may have maybe not played it quite right there. I don't think his intention was to be.
Oh, no.
But
He
what he has done
for
the hair industry, I think we cannot forget that, because I think Lee Stafford has probably brought more people into hairdressing.
Lee Stafford was a rock star.
Yeah.
Like,
and you can't deny that, can you?
You can't, no.
But I think maybe from a point of Lee, I think it wouldn't hurt him to come out and maybe just talk about it a little bit. Maybe, we might be missing something. We don't quite know all what's going on behind the scenes. There might have been things, productions, you don't know what ITV are. So I think it's just
we can talk about this for hours.
Yeah. But anyway, this kind of then leads us into...
It does indeed, actually. They play very well together. So I went out on the streets again with lovely Dan, and we filmed random people in the street. We were asking them what their biggest home hair disaster was.
Oh my God.
It was hilarious.
Such a good topic.
Shall we go into that and just have a little peep at what went on, and then we can have a little talk about this after. So let's have a look at it.
Hello, and today we're on Brick Lane, and we're going to be chatting to the general public, finding out if anyone's had any home hair disasters. Hey, today we are with the gorgeous Fountain, and I am going to ask you a question. Have you ever had any home hair disasters?
I would like to draw everyone's attention to my current barnet. Yes, a little bit. And the other little secret thing is, apparently everyone has a shaved head down one side, and that's fine because I still love that. And I teach archery, so I was like, okay. And I, do taxidermy, and I, cut wings off for birds, as you do. So I was like, okay, I'll cut one in. And then I was doing it myself, and I kept cutting in, and then I've ended up with some sort of wing. And I wanted this to be all like, like cut in with like a wet, shave razor and all this jazz. This is my butcher shop. I need to get me a barber shop. I'm so embarrassed, right?
Oh, I mean, I've seen much worse.
You're very graceful.
Any other stories? Any other colour?
Oh, I've had all of them. I've had your colour. I had a really nasty, it was a £3 wig from eBay. I went to a fabulous gay party, and they let me escape with it, which I was going to use as a ponytail, as in like a horse butt tail. But actually, it looked great. I put it on my head. I went to a wassail in Wales, and I put half a horse skull on my head with some pheasants, and and had this massive ugly clip on, but just say yes. Say yes.
You look absolutely amazing. Well, thank you for sharing with us, and I hope there's no more disasters in your future. Hey, so this is Liz, and apparently Liz has a hair-raising horror story about when she did her hair at home. So Liz, hit me with it.
Okay, so from the age of about 12, I have dyed my hair at home, and I'm now 68. As you can see, my hair is dyed. But when I was about 50, I dyed my hair. I used to go blonde in the summer and red in the winter. So as usual, I did my red dye, and my complete face and neck and everything just swelled up. I had to have 3 days off work, and of course, phoning work to say that you've had a hair dye allergy when you're a teacher is not really a very good excuse. But I couldn't go to work. I was in such a state, and ever since I can't use hair dye at home, and yet I had used it at home for the best part of 60 years, I guess.
I may ask, was it the same product that you were using?
Yes, exactly the same product. Well, over the years I used all kinds of stuff, but I can't remember what this one was. I got in touch with the company, and it said new with avocado oil, and when I said, am I allergic to that, they said, oh no, we always have avocado oil, it's nothing new. But I had just become...
That's terrible. What, did you go to the hospital?
No. I went to my doctor, she gave me antihistamines. Everything was swollen, everything swollen.
Was it painful?
Very painful, very ugly. So now I always go to a salon and they do foils.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, well thank you for sharing. That is a hideous story. That's fantastic. The best one we've had. Hey, so we have these two very pretty girls with us today, and I'm just going to ask you guys, have you ever had any home hair disasters?
So I wanted silver hair, and my natural hair is like really dark brown. I bleached my hair 6 times in 2 days. Then it was like yellow, it was all different colours. So I went to the hairdresser to dye it dark again. When she was dyeing my hair, it broke off. So I have like small bits of hair everywhere.
Oh my goodness, what were you using to bleach it 6 times?
Powder bleach from Boots. It was like £4, but don't do it.
Do you remember what bleach it was?
I think it was Bee Blonde.
Oh my god. Oh, Bee Blonde, I think that's the least Stafford one.
Yeah, don't use it.
Okay, fantastic. Any other stories that come to mind?
I dye my hair all the time and it fucks up every time.
It's kind of a common thing. Yeah. I mean, one bit of knowledge I might pass on to you is maybe let a hairdresser do it next time.
Yeah, I've learned that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So I'm just going to ask you today, Mr. Ollie, have you ever had any terrible home hair disasters?
Definitely. I think I've done a few in my time. kind of remember dyeing my hair what I thought was going to be blonde, and I wanted that whole M&M look, and it kind of just went a shade of your jumper. and yeah, I kind of didn't know what to do to get it back, so I shaved it all off, and then I had to start again. But recently I thought I'd get a new head tattoo, and I thought, that's all right, I'll just do my hair myself. So I shaved it with a Bic, of course, and took it right up here.
Can we have a look?
Are you sure? This has been on for about 3 months. It hasn't come off. I've slept in it. Are you ready? So it's kind of not the same length at the moment still, so I need to wait a little bit, I guess, and try and do something with it. But so this is me right now.
This is you. I mean, the rest of you's
I was
fab.
trying to do the whole like new year, new me, and I've got to just keep on going
New
with this.
year,
for a bit.
same you.
Yeah,
A little
I
bit
know.
messier.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you for sharing. Hey, so we are here with Maddie and Katie, and I'm just going to ask you this question, guys. Have you ever dyed your hair at home and it gone wrong?
Yes, I dyed my hair blue this one time. Do you not know this?
No.
Anyway, I did half of my hair and I ran out of dye. and so I had to get my dad to run to the shop, but then I put the other half on and one was like really bright blue and the other was like that, and I hated it anyway, and I tried to wash it out and it went green. And I was 14 and it stayed green. It stayed green for like months. I literally couldn't.
How did you manage to, what did you do in the end?
Well, I read somewhere that if you put washing up liquid in, it gets the colour out. So I did that, and then I actually had to put it over with like brown dye, and it was just like greeny brown. What?
I decided to mash up avocado and put it in my hair.
Did that work?
No.
No, it doesn't.
So Tegan, oh my God, you found like the best people
I
to interview
really
on the street.
struck gold.
Reaction from the skin test, blonde,
Yeah, it just
bleach,
covers everything, but
breakage.
it just highlights so perfectly how messed up it can
How
be.
messed up the nation really
Yeah.
How messed up the nation really is.
I mean, for all of those people that had these scenarios, you know, the breakage. I mean, she's definitely going to be a hairdressing follower now. She understands the true principles of why you need to go
But
to
yeah,
professional.
so sad that it takes such a catastrophe for people to realise how dangerous. Because I think that's the thing that people don't realise. It's a dangerous thing.
Yeah, they're chemicals.
It's a corrosive product.
Yeah. And you know, the lady with the reaction. Yeah, I mean, we laugh, but it's a really serious thing.
Terrible.
And these are the things that it gets talked about, skin tests in the salons, and I think it's a subject that we'll just think, oh God.
Yeah.
But it has to be done. And I think when you see that with the public, the reactions are absolutely catastrophe. It really is.
It's like you wouldn't go for an operation and not see the anaesthetist. You wouldn't just skip a step to get, you know, you take it seriously.
Do hair colours actually provide information about skin tests? So they will do that?
Yeah, they still have to, you know, you still 48 hours before have your skin test, and they recommend doing that. It's just, to what level does a consumer read that?
Never.
That information.
I mentioned it in the Lee Stafford clip. It wasn't, was it? There
No.
wasn't
Actually, it's a
any
good point.
talk of skin tests, was there? Which, again, should have been such a major thing to be highlighted.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. And but people are doing it and will continue. Why are people doing it at home?
I just think people are so time poor.
Instant gratification as well. They want something now. They want it cost.
Yeah. But I just think.
I'm going to just butt in this, because it's while it's in there, sorry.
No.
I do this all the time. Have you done home hair colours?
Yeah.
Hand on heart?
Yeah. As a,
right,
up until I was a hairdresser.
Why?
I did home hair. Because I was a teenager and my mum wouldn't pay for me to go to the salon. and also, like, I always wanted to constantly change my hair and stuff like that. But because I remember I had black hair, dyed black hair for years and years, and I decided I wanted to go blonde. So went down to Boots, got a short
So a bit like that, what Gil was saying about
and
bleaching.
I did it, and then I honestly thought that my hair would be blonde. So you can imagine my disappointment when I washed my hair. Half it was brown, half was orange, some are still black. Like it was, and then like 3 box dyes later, I was a nice yellow blonde.
Yeah.
And my hair was ruined.
Well, so my mum was a hairdresser, and she wouldn't let me colour my hair. So it didn't come from a place of it came from, I wanted to colour my hair, and my mum was like, no, you're too young. And I remember me and my friends went to Boots, and I remember we bought some old towels, because I would see my mum's kit having all the old towels.
Oh,
And we just in the bathroom, we just did it. And it was darker.
Yeah.
But it was everywhere. I mean, I was stained. I had, I didn't skin test myself. It was too dark. It looked like it was awful. And in that moment, I was like, I should have just listened to my mum. It's like I should have just listened to the hairdresser and taken their advice, because they're not telling you this for fun.
Again, I'm not trying to sort of say why people don't home hair colour, because we as an industry all know that people should be going to. But the reality is, it doesn't work like that, does it, in real life? So how can people that are maybe doing their hair at home, colouring their hair at home, because they can't afford it, what advice would we give to those people that are thinking, well, look, this is great, you lot, but I can't afford to pay £100 to go and get a colour done?
It's just education. Like, they just need to be educated on the products, the risks of the products. Because even like with most colours, they still have metallic salts and stuff like that in them, and there's
dreaded PPD and PTD and
I have no idea about that.
If they're not hairdressing properly,
well, that's true.
Exactly.
We won't go too heavy,
No.
but maybe leave that to some of Jordana's facts at some point of the future show.
Probably touch on that.
But and they also talked, there was the haircuts as well, so not always just the colours, haircuts.
And I think that's another, because I think sometimes in the salon we don't elevate our craft in the way it should be.
Very true.
As a hairdresser.
Actually,
you kind of, you do these small principles, or we offer a free complimentary fringe trim, which, some people are like, oh, I've got another fringe trim, do that, and then they're like, bye. So clients think, okay, well, they just did that, I'll give that a go, and, I'll just trim those little bits.
How many times, hands on heart, have you had people that have come back to you and said, oh, I've trimmed my fringe, it's not, you just need to even it out?
Can I tell you about this story? So I had a client who had a really small fringe, forehead, and I was always saying why the fringe wouldn't work. It wasn't, no, I'm not going to do it, it's just, this is why I wouldn't recommend it. And I remember one day she said to me, what's it going to take for you to cut a fringe for me? And I said, the only way I'd do it is if someone did it and it went wrong. So she went home and cut herself a fringe, but went into her hairline. And what that means is you get the wedge.
Yeah.
And I remember her coming into the salon and being like, what can you do? And I was like, wow.
I can't believe she actually did it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Have you
bad.
About fringes? I'm really glad we're actually going to do something style with fringes. Bit of fun. But have you seen that one at home use? What they're encouraging at home now? It clamps in. You clamp in your fringe, and you get the clip.
No.
And you literally just clip it along. Yeah, because again, but they are doing it.
Yeah.
Because there is big money.
I want to try it.
We
should try it.
Let's get hold of it and see how easy these things are to do and techniques. But again, doing the home hair stuff, it's easier for people now to go onto YouTube, see all these things. So again, we talked about the Lee Stafford incident, but you go on YouTube, how to do my hair at home, how to comb balayage, highlights. What would come up?
Lots.
Yeah, and probably some of them step by steps as well. And I mean, I suppose the hard thing is,
are we too sharing?
Well, and that's a conversation. How much are we giving away without sort of? But we can't be in a day and age now where we don't share, can we? And I just think we've got to remember the small principles. Like, a client's not going to know about her face shape and where to go to the edge of the fringe, the eyebrows, and all these little details. And in a personalised world, we should be educating the consumer. We want to design this for you, not becoming this generic looking fringe that everyone's going to have, which if you go and do it yourself, could be the case.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I was going to just say about colouring at home and the affordability of doing hair colours is, if you are really struggling, the one best advice that I'd probably say to somebody is contact your salon and see if they do modelling.
Yep, that's good.
Go to a college.
Yep.
You would be really surprised by how many salons and colleges offer this sort of thing. So it is a price issue.
Yeah.
What is the one tip that you would say, one big reason why somebody should not do it at home themselves?
There's so many. I think just because of like the risk of like your hair falling out and stuff like that. Simple health and safety. I
would say it's more from a reaction perspective. We're such a sensitive nation now when allergies are on the rise. If you do a shoot and it's a celiac, allergic to something, and I think that lady in that video is a prime example of actually people that have been colouring their hair for a longer period of time are more prone to reactions. It's not the people that just colour it after one session.
I would be really interested as well. I don't know if there's any facts out there on actually some sort of survey that has actually questioned, let's say women here, women on how many women colour their hair at home and how many go to a salon. I wonder what the percentage would be. What would you reckon?
Higher than you think, I think.
Do you reckon 60% of women who have colour do it at home or lower?
I actually think it's maybe slightly lower.
You say lower.
Only because I think people are maybe more mixers. So they'll do their white hair coverage at home, but they'll still go to the salon for...
Like a balayage or...
And I think maybe, when I watch people in Boots and Superdrug, I'm always intrigued by that aisle. You see them looking and I'm always sort of wanting to go, why have you picked that one?
Yeah, yeah.
But, it's the natural shades that they're going for. And
Yeah. Again, Boots, at that same case, just before we move on, we're going to move on in a minute because we're going to bring Dan on to talk about men's baldness and hair systems. But when I hear clients talk about going to salon, to their chemist to buy a colour, and they don't know what colour to buy, right? So, who shall I ask? Well, I'll ask the Boots assistant on what colour shall I be using. How on earth is that good? That you're getting professional advice from, or so be, professional advice by somebody who has no idea. Oh, that lovely dark brown chestnut we've got over there, and also women understanding the going from a dark colour to a blonde is not going to just happen in a box.
No.
You're going to have bleach
going
on.
Yeah. And, there's so many buzzwords about ammonia-free or these different things. It's also the complexities of what relevance does that have in the hair colouring moment? But again, if an assistant knows that there's some key words, they might be drawn to that one's ammonia-free.
It's got cactus juice in it.
Yeah,
But people aren't interested, are they? Really, I don't think
it would be maybe a point of difference to the big stack of colours that are happening. But yeah, you're right. Then they see the end result.
But actually, they need to know all about that.
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant. Love the video.
Yeah,
great,
so
as
good.
Always, we were sitting here chuckling away, just seeing Tegan out there, and so the people of where was you again?
We're on Brick Lane, Shoreditch area.
Yeah, thank you, Brick Lane. You were real.
Always deserve.
So I think we're ready to bring Dan out.
Yes.
Get introduced. So why don't you give him an introduction?
Oh, well, do you know what? I'm really excited to be able to introduce international educator for Schwarzkopf and hairdresser entrepreneur, Daniel Granger.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much.
Hairdressing.
Hi, guys.
Dan, good to see you, mate.
Thank you, brother.
Really good to have you on the show. I know.
Thank you for inviting me.
Dan, as she go back. Sorry, I'm going to go down. I'm terrible on shortening names. So Daniel, but me and Daniel go back a long way. I've known you a long time.
It's got to be 15 years plus.
I think so.
Wow.
So yeah.
When he first came into hairdressessing, we live in the same town.
Really?
Yeah, we're in the same town.
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah, I used to look up to. Yeah.
I didn't know that you were. Wow.
That was back when you had a salon with your mum.
That's right.
Was that right, wasn't it? Yeah.
And your stepmom, I believe, came to us many years ago. Sharon?
Yeah, Sharon.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you see, hey, there you go. But we're not here to talk about I mean, obviously, it is just amazing to have you here, Dan. I mean, and that's why, actually, I was just saying about knowing you, because Daniel's career, you've done so many amazing things.
Done some different things.
Amazing things.
Yeah.
Just give us, first up, you're more natural to this environment than probably the whole of us because you've done a lot of TV work. So what is it you've done in TV firstly? Just let us all know.
Well, the longest story ever. I used to work behind the scenes and I used to kind of think, what would it be like to be in front of the camera? How would I be? How would your heart rate be? Would it be natural? And I did a few castings for some things. I didn't get through, but I never gave up. And then one of my clients said, I've entered you into a competition. I said, you what? What's this? And she said, to be the Great British Hairdresser. And at the time, I was nowhere near the greatest hairdresser. I was still in my learning curve. I just opened a salon and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to give it a go. I felt the fear and I just did it anyway. So from that point, then I queued up with 2,000 other hairdressers. And I had my little tie on, my little bands on, looking all a little bit geeky and that, and a little bag, took a model. And then we auditioned, and it was an audition. So that process of TV then got me into the top 10. And then we battled it out over 10 series. And I actually walked out of that show.
I remember. Do you remember this show, guys?
No.
How long ago was it?
8 years.
8 years.
What happened?
I didn't want the job. I felt too much pressure. I had a family at home, and the guy that was doing the show, James Brown, it was a competition to work with him, alongside him, doing what he does. And the session world just wasn't me. Every day was a fresh day and a learning curve, but I just loved being in my salon, and I didn't want to break away from that, whereas there's other people that probably deserved it more.
What was it about TV work then that grabbed you? Being in front of the camera?
It was one I'm always thinking of what to do next, how to get my business at the forefront of hairdressing, and it was about marketing, getting my skills out there, getting people to follow me, attracting new staff members. I mean, from doing like photographic work and stuff as well. But it was like being a face. It was a big advert as well. But then I had the opportunity to really help people, and it is nerve-wracking because you're throwing yourself out there for everybody to go, I wouldn't have done that like that. I wouldn't have done that.
How do you find that then, to take that?
Do you know what? Because I help people, I don't think people criticise too much. And I was doing my best. I always do my best. It was like, there's nothing I don't do where I don't try my best. And as long as I've done that and it's good enough for me at that time, I'm my biggest critique. Let me criticise what I did. So there was some people that said, oh, that's not how you're supposed to do it. But I ignored them and just carried on with the people who went, that's brilliant.
Yeah, and body fixers as well. Did you see body fixers?
Yeah.
Yeah, body fixers.
What was the reaction to that?
Amazing. I loved it.
It was an incredibly good for bringing the industry to the forefront.
Yeah. I think we did some really good changes on there. I think season one...
Miracles. The stuff that you guys did was incredible.
So you watched it?
Yeah.
Okay. I know. I always think, who's watching this? Who does watch it?
Can you still watch it?
Yeah, it's on 4OD. You can catch it on 4OD, and there's 10 episodes on each series. There's 2 series, and we change cast on each one. I work side a great doctor called Dr. Resha, a great makeup artist called Alex.
Did they get in touch with you?
It was because I had already done TV. So once your foot is in the door, you never get removed from that list. Yeah. And then they will cast that list again for different amounts of shows. I've been asked to do many shows, stuff that like reality TV shows and stuff like that. And that's something I said I never want to do. As long as it's got something to do with my craft, I'll do it. Yeah. As long as it's something that tests me and tests me.
I'm a celebrity,
That's hilarious.
You could do some hair in the jungle, couldn't you?
I would love to see you eat cockroaches.
Do you know what?
That'd be good. I'm a celebrity.
I've got a bad gag reflex, so I mean, I've got a diet like.
Would you eat spiders?
No, I'd give it a go.
Could you?
I'd give all the challenges a go. I crossed the Arctic once, so I'm sure the jungle will be different.
You crossed the Arctic?
Yeah.
To get that out the bag. Why?
That was just something that we did for a client of mine who had motor neurons disease, and motor neurons disease kind of takes away a person from the outside, but they're still inside. And I saw her deteriorate as she's coming in to having a hair done each time, and I thought, and then this opportunity came up, and I went, I'm going to do that.
That's amazing.
Do you know, we could, on your story, I could sit here and talk,
Just more and
honestly.
more.
I'm going to get you on a podcast anyway, so we can do that for another time. But we want to talk a little bit about, seeing you're going to be showing us a bit later, hair systems.
Yes.
And baldness in men. And you're a very successful salon owner, which you are. But you've kind of really crossing over into this area. Why have you gone into this?
Well, I think hairdressers can become stagnant, and that's when they lose their passion. Mm-hmm. And I think whatever I do, I'm trying to stay at the forefront of the fast evolving hair industry, and hair systems and wigs, whatever we want to call them, are getting bigger.
These are wigs, aren't they?
They're wigs.
People will be sitting there thinking,
what's a hair system? Yeah. We call it a hair system because there's so many different ways of a wig is just a wig, and no one wants to really wear a wig. So if we say hair system, the terminology that we use for my clients, they feel a bit more special. But yeah, it is a wig. And back in the day, they called it a syrup. Yeah, the syrup, the toupee. But now it's, you know,
we kind of mocked it, in it, like you saying it like the stigma, but
huge
it's not
stigma
a
around
funny.
it.
Yeah, we can have a laugh.
Yeah,
Life isn't
weird.
all about being super serious, but for people wearing a wig, going through very difficult parts in their life, and particularly for men as well, which is that men just avoid this whole.
I mean, it's not unknown for women. Women have always worn wigs back since centuries and centuries ago. The first ever hairdresser was a wig maker. His name was Champagne. He's from the 1700s. He's the first hairdresser.
Champagne.
His name was Champagne.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, I'm right in my facts. I think I've researched enough. But he used to make wigs for the kings and the queens and the rest of them.
Really, really camp and limp-wristed.
Champagne.
It's a very camp name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Champagne.
But yeah, forever people have had thinning hair, losing hair, maybe from from treatment that they're having, or just of a shock of alopecia as well. So being able to make someone feel great again was powerful.
You're giving back someone's confidence.
Yeah, and it makes you feel good.
Huge way, yeah.
So, are you offering this in your salon?
This is the crossover because of body fixers, and the first time I ever did a men's hair piece was on TV.
Yeah.
That was the first time you'd done it?
Ever.
Did you know anything about it prior to that?
Nothing.
Because I saw the episode where the guy.
Yeah, so go on, carry on.
I just saw the episode. It was really good.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, just jumping before it went from my head, you doing this on TV, was this something that they asked you to do, or was this something you wanted to do and just thought, what the heck, I'm going to do this for the first time?
They bring you real people with real problems.
Do you know about them problems long in advance?
I know enough, but they never show you who the person is. They show you what the problem is, and then on the day they want the reactions to be really humble.
So it is very genuine.
It's genuine up to a part where obviously they're not booked in, they're not called up, but when they walked through the door, that was the first time I saw them, and they said, "Can you do this?" And I'm always a guy that even if I didn't know how to do something, I would say yes and then go away and learn it. So I had about 2 hours to learn how to do this. And obviously then we joined up with a company called Trenco who provide wigs and hair pieces at the best
is that
quality.
When you met them and that's when you got that time? Wow, okay.
I thought you were going to say, oh yeah, I had 2 weeks to go off and research this.
Nah, so it's there and then. Yeah, but everything's accessible. We can learn anything you want to learn. There is something on the internet that you can watch or read. So if you don't know how to do something, you've got a library there. I mean, back in the day when we didn't have internet, we would read from books and then practice and go for it. But they've done the practicing for you. They show you how to do it. And then it's all about having confidence just to give it a go.
This hair system that you're going to show us today, which is, I'm looking forward to seeing this.
Yeah.
Is what is so different about what you are doing with this hair system opposed to putting a wig on somebody's hair? You know, in the old days, we'll get a wig, put it on, stop.
Yeah. These are, they're a lot more natural. You shouldn't know. When I bring out my model, Tom, you'll see that he's not actually ready for to do it, but he wants to do it early enough because he's thinning and he hates it.
It's difficult.
And I want to give him the confidence back. So the difference between just having a toupee, which is just a piece that was just stuck down and you would take it off, on and off. They wouldn't be secure, but they would just mask what you wanted to cover. And the revolution of the wigs now, and the evolution, should I say, they've changed so much so they've become lighter, more natural, using human hair a lot more. The way it's stuck down, even the tapes we use are different, so they feel secure. There are synthetic ones as well. There's all different types of hair systems, so that's why we say hair system. But this is the biggest alternative to surgery. This is non-invasive. This isn't going to hurt. This is an instant result as well. And we all know that some people are going over to like foreign countries and having hair transplants, and there is a lot of cowboys out there.
I'm just going to ask the girls this. How would you feel, hand on heart, and I want an honest answer here. You met a man, tomorrow, obviously, you know, or you got to know somebody who, and they told you that they were wearing a wig, the hair system. What would your reaction be?
Well, maybe because it's like I'm a hairdresser. To me, it's not such
normalised.
a foreign thing or concept. I've actually suffered with alopecia in the past, so
Okay.
lost areas, and I've had mini ones because it would like when the wind blows and all that. So for me, it's not if something can give you confidence. I mean, my husband is bald actually. Funnily
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he'd gone through the whole stigma. I mean, he lost it too early for this to be any help. But no, I would be fine with it because I always think as a woman, you know, you go out with your fake lashes on, your fake tan, your knickers that hold everything in.
Hair extensions.
You know, you wake up the
wigs.
next day, and you go, oh God.
But for a man, it's not the thing as the acceptable.
No, yeah. You would be a little bit shocked, like, oh wow.
Look, I'm going to be honest, and you know, if I did turn up out with my friends and I had hair on the top of my head, you know, and they said to me, well, Dom, obviously they say, and I said, I've got a wig on, you would probably get laughed at initially. But then I think people would just get round to it, and I think you've got to become more comfortable because if you're comfortable being bald, great, but I think that early phase of going through thinning is a really difficult thing
But
for
I think
blokes.
if you're like giving, like you're doing, giving that person that confidence, if you're kind of, you know, having the laugh around the guys and it's thinning and it's obvious and you haven't got a solution, but you know, if they come in and they've been given that confidence by something like this, they're naturally going to be able to be like, do you know what, actually, Dom? Like, I'm really feeling great. That probably shut everyone, you know, up and actually lead to everyone talking about and having a conversation.
Massively, yeah. And I think that's what's so good. And I think you doing this, Dan, and kind of promoting it, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who do sort of look and think, wow, this is great. And it can be good for business.
It's great for business. I mean, I do a lot of leadership skills in business, and having a variety of, an array of services that you can provide your clients. This is just, you can earn good money from it as well. It can either be expensive or non-inexpensive. So depending on the quality they want as well, but it's a 2-hour service.
Do you actually do teachers on it? I know you've set up an academy, haven't you?
The academy is in the making as we speak. I've had such a great passion to teach, and I've been cutting hair now for 20 years on the floor. And again, another evolution of me and myself and my team is to then start teaching. Start teaching the 20 years of mistakes.
Because I would imagine you would be comfortable around you teaching. I would imagine I've got
a different way. Yeah, no, it's different. It is very different.
So again, if people think, I wouldn't mind, you know, going along to DG and having a bit of training. But
I mean,
you're going to be.
We've got something coming up that's very exciting.
Are you going to do some of this stuff with wigs as well, or the hair system?
Definitely. If I can teach a salon business to earn more money, to fill those other appointments, to keep the client that may be losing their hair and they're just going to whip it off there, because you've probably known them since you're cutting their hair from 16, now they're 26. And you can now add another service, but it's loyalty. They're your biggest fans. They're my friends. And I've built a whole career. I've been cutting someone's hair since the age of 13. I'm still now at 36. I'm still cutting their hair.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's good. Well, I can't wait for seeing a little bit more on this. So maybe we can get you to get your model.
Let me go and get my model. Grab a seat there, Tom.
Hey, Tom. Hello, how are you doing?
Hi.
Meet the gang.
How are we?
Really good, thank you. Excited to see this.
Yeah, me too.
Can I just say, as a tall fella, I am really excited to see this because it is something that I feel, you know, how far it's come in what we were talking about earlier.
It's come a million miles since, we were speaking earlier about a syrup. As what people would recognise as a wig or a toupee, something like that. Now, these are hair systems, which are supposed to look as natural as possible. Yeah, because we don't really want to kind of say it's a wig. Anybody
Even though that word wig or toupee, there's such a stigma against, like, around that. So it's it's interesting.
Can I just ask you, Tom, truthfully, how do you feel about having this? Thinking about your mates, people's reaction to you?
That's something I was a bit daunted by.
Yeah.
But I think actually standing up and saying, you know what, this is a completely normal thing, it's something that's going to give me a bit more confidence.
Yeah, because I look at you and I don't instantly go, oh my God, you need to do this or anything.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see your feelings around it.
I mean, I like to be able to walk into a hairdresser's and be able to have a variety of different styles, and I usually tend to say, oh, just do what you can. Where
I again, as a bald man, clearly, I remember, because I'm really comfortable about being bald, we were talking about this earlier, but when I first started to lose my hair, I had a real issue about it. And I think most men do have a real issue about going bald. We don't like to admit it, we kind of laugh it off, because I think women are more sensitive about these kind of issues. They'll be like, oh, it's okay. But a bloke, we all just ridicule each other, don't we? Oh, you're going back a bit, or you've got a bit of a monk patch, and and you go home, and you're like, and it's hard. So, I think to have this, and I think for you to come and do this is really brave. So
I've always wanted to do something, and I thought about the hair transplants and stuff like that. But when Dan said about this and researched it, it just
people don't know about it. It's a totally unknown role for most people.
We've seen a lot more on Instagram. There's a lot more people doing this, and there's a few kind of guys doing it by themselves as well. But this is actually a really specialised thing. You can't just grab a hair system and just slap it on the head. There's a real consultation, because people wearing this, it's a decision. It's a real decision maker that they are set to wear this for the rest of their lives. And they have to wear it and be responsible about it as well, and wear it with confidence. So there's a lot of consultation goes behind it.
In terms of coming to you then, Dan, so when you're doing this in a salon, Tom, you've done a consultation, we talked
Yes.
about. Is this a long, drawn-out appointment with you?
Well, as I said, talked to you earlier about how I started doing it. It took me a while to find my feet, like anything does. When the first time you do a balayage or you do a new haircut, it can take you a little bit longer. But I found a way to teach this to other people where we can fit it in the appointment time. So from now, where I'm going to take Tom back, I'm going to talk you through that process very quickly, actually. And this is what takes the time. So what we're going to do is we're going to find out, as we said in the consultation, of where he feels he needs more hair. We want to keep it more natural looking as well, so we don't want to give him a big rounded front, so that's in there because they all come with set fronts, and you have to cut it into the shape. Now, he's got a good head of hair still, so we can use as much as his possible. So what we are going to do is we're going to remove the front. Now, this is only for comfort and for durability, where we're then going to place the piece.
So you're shaving it up?
We take it right down, so we can find that pattern just through the hair there.
What happens when it starts to grow back?
It just grows underneath. It's only ever going to grow a little bit longer than that. It's never going to push the system off. And what I don't do is that I glue the whole thing down, so it's really cocooning his head. I like my guys to be able to kind of remove it themselves, put it on and off, and keep it very hygienic as well. Because a lot of them are left on for long periods of times, which can cause infections. Yeah. And I've been seeing a lot more of this with men hiding their infection. And that's just something it's crazy. This is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be cool. This is supposed to be bringing my confidence back rather than hiding behind it. So we've really spoke about it in the consultation. Now I spend up to 30 to 40 minutes chatting with a guy. Wow. People say, but they'll pay for that. Every service that we do in a salon must be paid for. It's our time. It's where we've really come a long way from just having a quick consultation. We sit down and have a good, confident chat of where he's going to be. Is this what he wants? This is a big decision. Or is it the other hair services available to you? Do you want to try those first? This one's an instant fix. This is the quickest fix.
How much time did you need to be persuaded to have this done?
I've probably tried everything on the market, like you can buy in store, the regains and stuff like that.
No success. Not really.
I told Dan that, and he said, look, let's get that confidence back, and and that's for me. That's all I needed to hear, really. And a few of my friends have. Know the work.
What your mates said about it, knowing that you're coming and having this done?
My close mates are really cool with it. I mean, I'm quite laid back, but it's my rugby friends. I play rugby a few times a week. I'm always known as the guy that with the thin hair. But
I think that's really. Honestly, I really feel for that.
But I don't mind it. It's a bit of a laugh. I can laugh it off. A bit of banter.
You're a cool guy anyway.
Yeah.
With all that, I always say.
And that's why we're talking about.
But just before you do go off and go and kind of create this down. Actually, with Tom playing rugby, that's an aggressive hands-on game. How does that work?
Oh, you've got to make sure it's down safely and secure. Perhaps wear a helmet. No, the ones that we have now, and the tapes that we have really adhesive to the head. You know, to the point where I could give him a good tug on that. I'm not saying if he gets into a nice scrum half and he's just going to be ripped off. I mean,
could that be? How painful could that be?
It's not painful. It's like, you know, ripping off a plaster, I suppose, isn't it? But, you know, that's something that we don't want. You know, we don't want that to happen. So maybe in between, he would be wearing a hat whilst playing rugby or something like that. But I think people, how often does someone come over to you and pull at your hair? It doesn't happen. Don't touch the hair.
Keep your hands.
Yeah. So I'm going to just wrap this up because I'm really keen to get on. And so I'm just going to talk you through the process very quickly. So.
And can we also see the hair that we're going to be putting on?
Definitely. That's where we're going to bring that over just now. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this area here. This gives us a place where we can then secure it to the skin on skin. And then I'll now show you the piece. Just 1 second. There's many different pieces and many different systems of how to do
these.
these.
Particular about this? Obviously, we don't need to mention the brands, but are you?
I particularly only work with human hair because I feel it looks the most natural. There are fibre hair.
How much would something like that cost?
£500.
Wow.
£500 as a service in a salon. I'm all about what services can I offer my clients for the duration of their lives. I've been cutting hair since I was 13 years old. And any way I can create an income into the salon and a service to my clients, I will spread that as specialised as I can. And this is something that has really hit off. It used to be a thing where you go somewhere else. You know, you go to that. I'm creating a private room as we speak because I've been doing it in the salon because I'm quite open about it. I'm quite.
It's not a thing for you. People see all the time.
Yeah, it's a big thing, but it's a big thing. Once you take off this piece of hair here and they're looking in the mirror going, I look like Friar Tuck here, man.
I think if I was having it done, I would want to be in a private room, for me personally.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
You just don't want to. You just feel a bit silly as a bloke, even though it's not. But as a bloke, you can't help because you know you may. Because as we went back to earlier, when you're talking about syrups, that's how it's been portrayed for so long. It's a bit of a jokeable thing, isn't it?
You've got to have a bit of sense of humour about this. But there are guys that I look after that would not even walk into the salon when it's busy. Yeah. So I do it after hours. This is something that I'm so passionate about that I finish a whole day's work and then I'll go and do some more. But we can sit there and talk, and I'm learning as I go along as well. It's quite a scary thing for the hairdresser because these you don't get a second go on these.
Can you really get a close look on those with the camera, Dan? Dan's the cameraman. Are you there, Dan, by the way?
Hey, bro.
So close look at.
So I'm going to just talk you through the two processes that I've used. Now, these are made up of lace and mono. This is a scallop front. So the mono is a skin-to-skin feel. With this gives us a bigger area to stick down. The lace, this is more breathable area, allows the hair to kind of sweat and not get too clangy with the glue. These are all cut to size. So we'll measure out the head and the head shape. I'm going to wrap him with cling film, the technical way of doing it, sellotape, create his head shape. Then we are going to draw out that pattern, and we're going to place it on here. Then I'm going to cut round, being careful not to cut the hair itself because you can get short patterns in there, so it's quite a slow process. Then we're going to teach him how to tape it up, how to clean his head off, and then apply it from front to the back or back to front, depending on where you feel comfortable. Now, this is the mono and lace. Now, this one is more lace. Because Tom is fairer, we're going for the lace because it's lighter. It's a different kind of feel than the front of these are very strong and very demanding and very hairline. Whereas this, I can really detail that out. And the stitch on these is then just separated to give you more of a natural hairline at the front. Now, the only difference between the two, this one, you can't keep on for a long duration of time, which would be the 3 or 4 weeks, which I don't recommend anyway. So I like my guests and my guys.
I just cannot visualise. Can you, Tom? When you look at that at the moment, all I see.
Well, Coles get the girls.
Like that.
What's Coles about?
I just cannot, honestly. I know we're going to look at and it doesn't I know, but you
finished.
You walked out with that. You would not walk into your local boozer.
I mean,
that's what I can't wait to see. It's just, honestly.
These are obviously not cut. But it allows us to kind of choose the length, you know, whether you want it slick back, you want it fringe up, you want texture in it. The hairstyle that we're going to go for is similar to mine. It's similar to what it is now, so it doesn't feel like too alien. You can colour these, human hair, cut them down to shape. But I'm really keen to crack on. Yeah. I don't usually show them like this. I usually hide it on the backstage. There's a lot of backstage stuff you've got to keep from the client sometimes. You can't just pull this out because they'll look at that and go, how is that going to happen? So to restore the confidence, it's usually evidence of what we've done before. There you go, I've done this one, I've done this guy, and stuff like that.
Isn't it? You see that and you're thinking, wow, I can't wait to see how that. I'm really excited to see this, honestly.
I mean, this is something that I just, as I said earlier, it's just something I want to do. I love making people smile again.
I just can't believe as well, you know, you have this massive power that you're going to give someone confidence. I know we do it as hairdressers, but in this capacity, this is a whole new level.
But, and also, again, for hairdressers that are looking in, and Dan was mentioning that actually as a new revenue opportunity to the salon and variation to what you do, this is it. Yeah, really good. That was great, Dan. So look, you're going to bring Tom back.
Yes.
And have a look at it. I know time is a little bit short. That was perfect. Really good. Well done, mate. Look forward to seeing the new look.
Let's go find Tom's new hair. Come on then, pal. Thanks, guys.
Well
See you in a minute.
See you in a bit. Really looking forward to seeing Tom come back. I think it's, when you get a transformation, I think it will be so much better. Now, we were mentioning earlier that Jordana is a poorly girl, and genuinely, she's really poorly. And we've not got her here today in the studio. But we have some good news.
What is it?
We have gone out to see Jordana, and she is going to be showing us some hair facts, and that's what we're going to hop into now. So if you fancy seeing some interesting hair facts, then we're going to head over to Cabela Salon to be joined by Jordana Cabela. So this is what happened when Dan went to see Jordana at Cabela Salons.
Hi guys, we're here in Kensington in my salon and spa, and I'm here today to talk to you about scientific facts about hair. As hairdressers, I think it's really important to make sure that we know the depth of our field and to really understand the science between the technologies that we're dealing with and really advise our clients properly. Sometimes we might shy away from that, but I've been researching for the last few months on the science of hair, and I want to share all of the fun facts with you, and also I want to give an insight as to how you can educate yourself more as well. So I'm going to share some facts with you, and we will be doing this every episode, and I'm sorry I couldn't be with you for episode 2. So the first scientific fun fact I have for you is that the average head of hair can support up to 23 tons of weight, which actually is equivalent to, in real terms, 7 African elephants. That's just insane. Its strength is actually the same as that of a copper wire of the same diameter. That's not something that we actually appreciate as hairdressers when we're bleaching it. So fun fact number 2 is that hair has extraordinary insulating powers, rivaling that of asbestos, but it's obviously not as harmful. Hair is made up of protein called keratin, and this type of protein is really similar to what is found in claws, in beaks and feathers. Fun fact number 3 is an average head of hair has 120,000 hairs. Blondes do tend to have more. Maybe that's why blondes have more fun. And redheads tend to have a little less. With 120,000 hairs and an average growth phase of around 4 years, this means we can afford to lose up between 75 to 80 hairs a day. So it is very normal, and we don't need to panic when we see all the hair that comes out in the brush. So fun fact number 4 is that your hair contains absolutely everything and anything that has ever entered your bloodstream. This is why it's commonly used as forensic evidence. So this might be bad news for pilots or train drivers who are regularly tested for drugs by taking a sample of their hair. So the final fun fact of today is that hair actually grows slightly quicker and at a higher rate in warm weathers and hotter countries. And the reason why is because your scalp is more stimulated to produce the blood supply to your follicles, and that's why your hair grows slightly quicker. So go on holiday a bit more, or just move to Australia. So if you really enjoyed what you've been listening to today and you want to know more, A really good book to read is The Hair Bible by Philip Kingsley, and it gives you a great overview of what we've been talking about today, and it provides you with some really interesting knowledge. The other thing you can do is follow #Trichology on Instagram, and it will take you to some really interesting accounts to learn more about the topics. So that's me done for today, and I'll see you next time.
Right, I am properly excited to introduce to the hair show, the underground hairdresser and session stylist, Mr. Cool Lance Lowe.
Come on in.
Can I just say,
63.
Have a look. How old?
63.
63. And
Yeah.
actually, it's really good that you've come on wearing your natural grey hair.
Yeah.
How perfect is that?
Yeah, because
I know, that conversation.
We were saying about David Beckham, who's now grown out.
And who was one of your clients?
Yeah, I've done David. The interesting thing about hair for me, though, is I've always been organic and natural.
Yeah.
From day one. You know, trained to do relaxers, saw the damage you can do to the scalp and everything. And, you know, yes, it's better now. Yes, the education's better now, but to be honest with you, natural is the way forward for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, you three look fantastic. Gold, red, black.
Natural all the way.
Grey.
Complimented. So how long have you been grey?
Since, do you know what? Not that long.
Have you not?
No.
Have you only recently embraced? Did you colour?
More or less. I coloured. I'm a hairdresser. I coloured my hair for at least. I know you're listening out there in Japan.
I hope you're listening in Japan.
Yeah, they are. Don't worry. 30 years at least. You know, but I've had all colours. I've had the red.
What was the turning point then?
Well, there's two questions there. One, I've coloured my hair, and as a hairdresser, I've had every colour under the sun.
Yeah.
I mean, pre-top of the pops, it was bleached white. You know, and red with a black triangle.
Love that.
Present time, the reason I stopped colouring it is condition. Condition on a guy and on a woman after 30 years, you can tell.
Yeah.
And as a hairdresser, you've got to believe in what you do, so I just let it go. And I have pictures to show the transition of colour. I even had to go to my brother's son's wedding when he was half and half.
Half and half.
Half and half.
Yeah, it was a good one. So, I mean, look, I'm just looking. I mean, your heritage in hairdressing is pretty good, really, to say the least. I mean, you have worked in shows, session work. You're a underground hairdresser. What is an underground hairdresser?
It's a tricky one for me because I worked for all the corporate companies. I like my accent, corporate companies, and. I've got to be very careful here. I decided to go my own direction because I worked for all the big names. I'm sure you have them all before, and they make you say and do stuff. That wasn't quite what I believed in. So I just walked my own path. And what I love about it is I see all the people, and that's their style. That's the way they work and embrace. There's nothing wrong with that. They go the corporate road, and probably they can change that ethos from inside out. But I am definitely a guy on the outside.
And how long ago was that you made that transition into doing your own thing?
I think round about 1991, when I decided to go to Japan. I left England and went to Japan to work and teach for maybe 10 years.
Why Japan?
I was trained at... This is a great question. I was trained at Vidal Sassoon. Joined Sassoon's in around 1975, just before punk. And... I got the job by mistake. Vidal was opening up a salon in Birmingham. I was working in a clothes shop, trying to become a little tailor. And I was told this guy was opening this amazing shop, go and have a look in the rotunda. I went down. It was the day where they were looking for staff.
Wow.
The guy said, I know. The guy said to me, can you hold scissors? And I could hold these big machetes. And the first thing he said, though, was weird. He said, you've got good hands.
Huh?
And he said, why don't you...
Let's have a look at your hands. Show the camera your good hands.
It's like the artistic hands.
Good hands.
Fashion.
Good hands. But the beautiful thing was, and I had no idea, because I'm just an all right little brummie from, do my thing. He said, come down to London. I didn't know what he meant by that. And he handpicked me out of 8 to 9 guys all over the country. I went to London within that month. No money. One street salon. went into the salon. What you remember, or those pictures you see of Vidal in that salon, are true. I said, go to the 4th floor.
Oh my God.
I went up to the 4th floor as a kid. Went up to the 4th floor, saw 6 or 7 other kids sitting around in this little room, and then Vidal came up and said, I've handpicked you lot. You're my disciples.
Oh my goodness.
Freaky.
That's so...
I was trained by Vidal and staff 3 years.
That's monumental.
But it gets better. This is why I know I'm so late. It gets better. After 3 years, you normally take a little test. In those days, the test was huge. 6 or 7 models, live, all the art directors, it's on. And then you become a Suzzanne hairdresser. I took my test and it was a big howdy-do, you know, it showed like 15, 20 models, it was ridiculous. But then, at that point, they needed teachers. I was a kid. And they said, would you like to be a teacher? And I went, well, what does that mean? It means you're not going to go on the shop floor, you're going to go straight into something called teacher training. You were mentioning earlier on with body language and stuff like this, and timings and... Yeah. So, straight into teacher training. Another 2 years. I came out of a 5-year training programme.
So I'm going to ask you the question, because as you do...
And then pick up a suitcase and travel the world.
A rich variety of stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, I rambled on a bit there.
No, it's fantastic. I love it. No, it's good. Education, session. And this is kind of aimed at a lot of our viewers, again, listeners that may be coming into hairdressing. This sounds great. What is it that what makes your livelihood? Is it a session stylist? Is it clients?
That's a wonderful question, but then I have to go back a little bit, because in the days of working on magazines and stuff, there was no direction, there was no agencies, there was nothing. It was just word of mouth, get to A to B to Z and carry on. I remember let's go back, here we go. So one day, when I was a teacher at Vidal Sassoon in the 80s, somehow I met my counterpart in another company in Paris, I can't remember how it was. And the salon and the company name, they're quite prestigious now. I don't know if you guys will know they're called Patrick Allais, Phytoplage. Phytoplage is the name of the product anyway. No. It's probably the way I said, but they're huge, Phytoplage and all. And so this chap said, come over, Lance, you know, with his French accent, which I will not do, and join me on the show.
You've got to do it.
He said, come over, Lance, and work with me on a French show. I went, okay. And so I'm entrenched into my whole Suzzanne mode. So I go over to Paris with a comb, scissors, Denman brush, because that's what we did in those days. We wouldn't use anything else. No round brushes, no curling tongs, nothing. I turned up at Fashion Week Paris to do Claude Montana's show, introduced to all these Pierres and Charles, these hairdressers, and they said, you'll be working alongside this guy. I went, cool. Put out my little 3 pieces of equipment. I didn't even have a transformer for a hairdryer. I didn't have, you know. And then I watched each one of them roll out to a table of this length, all their brushes, all their irons, It took me apart. French didn't really like the London hairdressers that much there. I came back to London, I told them what happened to me at Suzzanne's. And they said, I need to take a sabbatical. Took a sabbatical and worked for the French hairdressers for a year. Learned how to blow dry, learned how to do all that stuff. My best story for salon work in Paris was I was blow drying this lady, because I'm self-taught in a way, with a lot of... And it's all about no pain, it's all about giving pleasure, it's all about making people smile, be happy. And I was blow drying away thinking she loves it. And she's saying in French to the other hairdressers, brushing? He's not pulling my hair. Ask him to pull my hair. I remember that, you know. And they pulled me off, and I watched these guys rip into this lady's head, and she was loving it. Well, what does that teach you? It teaches that it takes all sorts. And I also, on the back of that, while I was standing watching this guy and this lady doing this, I was watching a French chap do a bob, a Vidal Sassoon, A-line bob. Now I'm going, okay, do it. Gets that pair of clippers, cuts it dry. And I want to rip into him because I'm Suzzanne brainwashed. And something tells me to stop. And I just watched him do it. It was one of the most beautiful haircuts I'd ever seen.
I mean, they're really. I mean, you're.
Sorry, I didn't ask you a question, but
no, it's good. It's the story. I would love to know your thoughts because you're a seasoned pro, been there, done it. Your experience is great. What's your thoughts on the industry right now?
It's hard for me to say. One, I love this industry. I said that to you earlier on, and I think it's a fantastic growth industry still. There's so many keys that are holding it back, and not just this industry, like the youth culture and the mentality of Great Britain as well is a bit weird at this moment. And we need to kind of pick up the youth and lead by example, and we're not really.
Why?
I don't think people have the heart, does that make sense, to teach people properly. So when I go to academies and watch other people teach, they seem to give them X amount of education and then tell them to sign up for the next bit, and then sign up for the next bit. But first you've got to give them the real education for them to sign up.
What do you think to that, Suzzanne? I mean, your education.
Yeah, because I was.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, no, and something for me is there's so much complexity about starting in salons. As a hairdresser now in this day and age, do you go down an apprenticeship route? What about college? What about working with an individual? How do you like?
That was the same in my day, except.
No, go on.
Except you said a great word, apprenticeship. So that word's been lost a lot in translation. I think apprenticeship. It should be back. It should be brought back. They should take on the youth, pay them something, and they should be taught. And then obviously, through that education, they give back. So they're there on contract for at least 3 years, cannot leave.
If you were going into hairdressing, I'll start that question again. If you were coming out of school now, would you go into hairdressing?
I would.
Why would you go into it?
Because
in current times, you would go into it.
I think it's a career. If you're into people, I would, because I'm into people. That's just me. So I would go into hairdressing. It's an education. You learn a skill that can take you around the world if it's taught to you properly. But where I say it's not taught to people properly, it's taught to them in bits and bobs. If they get that skill down, it's great. But it's different now. You're a colourist, but you. Sorry, when I say you're a colourist, I really admire that because I'm a hair cutter. Mm-hmm. You're a colourist.
So you don't colour?
I do colour, but I prefer not to colour. And that was, I had that decision to make it so soon. Would you like to colour? No, but I'd like to learn to colour, but I don't want to colour. So when people talk about, balayage, you know what I'm about to say, if you know anything about history of colour, I'm just going to go flying colours. Do you know what I'm talking about, guys?
Explain.
Yeah.
Thank you. So flying colours was the original balayage in this country, where we were all doing it. I'd cut a haircut, I'd layer it through, we'd mix up what colours we'd want, we'd take the comb, we'd paint it on where we want to paint it. That to me is balayage. Yeah. I don't know if I'm being...
No.
It's great.
That's what it is.
Honest.
And so overnight, this balayage, or this technique of a word, this French word, it's taken on a whole different concept, and zeros have been added onto it.
But isn't that good for the industry?
I'm not saying it's not bad for the industry, but it's good for the industry. Yeah, I'll go.
Because I think it's like lots of things, isn't it? Things just get reinvented. A bob will be reinvented. They're rich in parts.
Yeah.
So that's got to be good. If we keep making things new and invent it and bring it back, that's got to be good.
What I'm saying is I can't remember. I can't equate the amount of money, but we would put the colour on, whether it's tinfoil or painted on, and it would cost next to nothing, and we could do it again in the next haircut. But now it's costing zero amount of pounds, and you're still doing it on the next haircut. If that makes sense.
Sorry,
I'm not knocking that, because it's a business.
Because how old are you? Sorry, 60...
63.
63. The reason I'm asking about the age again is because hairdressing isn't just a young generation thing. Because I always hear it's all about youth, it's all about the generation. But actually there's an older guard of hairdressers who have got so much to add to the industry.
And that's a great point. I mean, I look at the youth and I admire the youth because they're taking it and they're running with it. But the ones with the knowledge, I can see them. They're not being set up to be asked to help the youth, and they're losing a wealth of knowledge. So I'm on shoots, and this is what I've learnt over the years, is when a young gun does a look, and you and I could just pick that look and go, well, actually, that was da-da-da-da-da-da. But they're putting their stamp on it. Yes, you want their stamp on it, but you could just go, just tweak it that way. Or, do you know what I mean? Or just move it along a little bit. And yeah, I'm almost afraid to say that these days.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't want to seem like I've just trodden on the youth's toes. I wish I had a camera on me in there just a minute ago. I stopped.
Yeah.
But I made him smile and he carried on and loved it.
What do you think,
But I'm
Suzzanne,
saying,
to what Lance is saying?
It's just a point to it.
Do you know what? It is a hard way. It's finding a whole new communication, because I was teaching, and there's certain, you'll have someone who's slightly more experienced, someone who's new to the industry, someone who's younger, and it's having, how do I communicate with this person versus this person?
Yeah.
And you're right. It's not in just hairdressing. It's all aspects of critique now.
Exactly.
Are we really open to it? And it's finding a language that resonates with the younger generation to show, you've got you want to help them develop.
I feel like there is such a big disconnect between generations of
But I
hairdressing.
think we're also, like you were saying earlier, maybe slightly letting down some of these new hairdressers coming in, because you could do a 6-month fast course, and then suddenly, I used to get them where I used to work, and they'd be like, I'm a hairdresser, and on paper they were fully qualified. Yeah. Yet you ask them to do a basic fundamental like graduation, a basic fundamental like a highlight, and actually they've been trained in this trend space, and so they're great at they're great at this one motion.
I learned graduated bar, but in my training, which
but you need that to hone, because everyone that I believe has these foundations. You can go and learn balayage, you can go and elevate your creativity, because you understand how to put it together.
Coming back to your question about the older hairdresser, I think the time is right now for somebody like me to be taken up, or within our own space.
How do you get taken up then?
That's the key. Now,
a couple more minutes on this, because I'd like you to just maybe just give us a little bit of Lance styling on.
So for me, I don't work for corporates because of
But if it came calling though, would you?
There's a question. If they let me do it my way, which is a more of a personal way, which is not a route, one guy to 60 people or 30 people, break at 10 o'clock and 10 people, sit down, talk about how they feel about their career decisions, their career directions, and walk them through whether they want to do session hairdresser, colouring, cutting, direct them through whether they want to do all of it. Because my question to me was, you have to make a choice. Do you want to be a session hairdresser? Do you want to be a salon hairdresser? Do you want to be a barber? And I went, no, I want to be all of it. And we'd all go like that. So I opened up my own agency, and I had to do my own salons, and
So
over the years.
if people are listening, just kind of bring it to end, because time.
Yeah,
just,
no,
I wish we could have
no.
a 2-hour show.
You're wonderful.
Actually, we
You set me off.
We could go really deep with this. And I find it frustrating. But if people are watching this and they're thinking to themselves, I like what this guy's saying. I'd like to work with him. He's an underground hairdresser. How do you work
secret
with
salon.
So, and is that easy to get in touch when you do lots of educational work?
Instagram, yes. I'm shocked. As an older guy, Instagram pays my bills. Instagram. I don't even have a website. I used to have lots of websites.
This is, honestly,
Instagram. It's weird.
Tegan, who is a superstar, really on TV. I mean, it's just become a place. I mean, there's no.
If I could say something else, I would say something else. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I found Instagram works for me. I mean, you've seen me on there. I've just put something. One of my clients yesterday. Already, I'm sure it's got 200 or 300 hits. I mean, that's not a lot, but if it's genuine hairdressers who want to know something.
Well, I'm glad.
Sliding into your DMs.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think you're fantastic, and I think to be doing hair as you still are, and your passion and your excitement for it I think it's just so encouraging, and I think we have to shout about that more.
Thank you, but that's also why I'm here today to listen to you guys, because I've learned a lot.
Well, it's been, honestly, I think
off
for
the
a lot
camera.
of people to have you come along here, and you're not going to get away without just doing a little bit.
Let's have some fun.
Let's see a little bit of hair. You were talking about doing a wig, working on a wig on.
Yeah, because I brought a couple of things down. You said bring a couple of things down. I had some plans I was going to surprise you with, but because now I've got a live young lady, I'll be a bit more subtle with the prank.
I'm alive.
Live.
Thank goodness she's alive.
And so let me transform
you're
this young lady.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, so shall we let you go off and get yourself ready for that? Cool. We'll bring you back and do that. It's been really good. I thank you so much.
I hope you've got something. You can feel I've got a lot to give, and I sometimes just.
Oh, it comes over. It comes over.
Okay, let's do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Top man, high five. I always love a high five. You'll get used to me.
Oh, dated. I know.
There we go. So Lance is just going to go off and get his. Well, you enjoyed that.
Wow. I felt.
Honestly, such a great conversation.
Yeah,
really.
I know. So I am so excited now to bring back Dan and Tom and see this amazing reveal.
Okay, let's have a look.
Are you ready, guys?
Oh my god, that is amazing!
Blimey, wow. Man, that is. Dan.
It's good, right? It's good, right? Yeah.
Tom. Amazing, right? Mate, you were perfect.
I mean, okay, Tom, have you got your phone? Because
Almost
I
got
think
Daniel Granger hairstyle going on.
they've modelled. He did say, I like yours.
It's
So I just want you to see on here the before and after, because that's when you really notice.
Tom, you are present, ain't you?
So you see that one?
Yeah.
Oh.
So am I okay just to stand up, Dan? Yeah, all right.
That is what it was like the start to that.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
You're a clever boy.
Yeah, I mean, it's very durable. You can pull it.
Yeah. Oh, tomorrow
style it.
you are going to be like.
That hairline.
That's
Could you
nice.
actually do that? No, you've done it on it. Could you do that on me?
And this, like,
If you grew the size of your hair,
Yeah, so if I
you have to have a bit of
as
growth.
a bald guy.
100%.
So,
what does
Yeah.
it feel like on your head?
It feels. That's what I was worried about. How's it going to feel? But it feels like it's my hair.
You just feel like.
when I saw
You
that,
can touch it.
when I saw that curly hair,
That weird
I just
curly
thought that
hair.
ain't gonna happen, is it? Mate, that
You're
is
gonna have to get
just
hair products.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
You're gonna spend so much
I
time
know.
getting ready.
I'll be stopping off in boots on the way home.
So do you just use a little bit? What's around here? This is the glue seal. It's just.
I've
so
used
you
a combination of tape and adhesive. So
Oh,
just to double kind of secure it, I found that.
That
But
looks so good, mate.
the difference between the
It
way
costs you 500 quid every time.
That colour match.
I know.
our
How long will that last?
that will last as long as he looks after it. It could last up to 3 to 4 months. 4 months.
Okay, and then
4 months at its best.
And then when that does come to its, when do you know? Does it just start to come?
It will start naturally losing its hair. But if you sleep in them, they last probably 50% less.
Can you just touch it a little bit of glue, or is there anything to just keep that more? You know, if it loosens off a little bit.
Yeah. Literally, you just go under. I use a glue called Ghost Glue, which it goes totally transparent. You can put it on the finest layer as well, and just touch it down each time to do it. Also, wig tapes as well. I find they're the best because you can peel away. Yeah.
Honestly, I am really.
You look fantastic.
I messed your hair up now, bro.
So good, mate.
Yeah, sorry, we're all gone in.
Great.
Yeah.
Really, really good. I mean,
It's good. I hope he likes it as well, because it's one of those things. You're either going to get on with it and nail it and go and wear it. And Tom
But
today.
actually, with Tom as well, the beauty of this, actually, we all know the impact and difference is so different. But actually, he could walk into the boozer tomorrow. You wouldn't. I think
You're not going to know.
It's so much of a change, but it's so subtle because you still had that.
The fact it's like the exact same colour. Like, I love the style that you cut this in. It works so well. Like, it just.
So what advice would you
You'll be
give
like,
to
there's
Tom
something
starting out
different,
washing it?
but better.
So we always give the best thing to do is give them a great aftercare service and the knowledge before you do it, so they know their commitment. Because it is a big commitment to being able to then re-tape and re-glue, re-clean, keep it fresh, because a lot of people are wearing these for months or weeks, and it's not healthy. Whereas this system that I've done here is I've only taped the edge, so the internalness always keeps breathing. He can sweat through, he can wash it, he can do everything he needs. But the main thing is to not use the temperature of the water to get the glue too hot, or the hairdryer too hot, because it's only about the glue. This is very durable. This will last.
So if I want to do this myself as a service, can I come to you?
Yes.
So
Yes.
other people can come to you.
But the thing is, at the minute, they're going to clinics, hair replacement clinics.
So we can come to you.
And you can just come to your local salon now. You know, that's where I see this movement going. It's another service.
Yeah, I get that. I think it's a service. Actually, to offer that, I think is brilliant. Really, really good. So,
yeah.
Thank you, Dan. Honestly, it's well worth seeing that. I mean,
It's just one more string to my bow, isn't it?
To your ever-growing millions.
I feel about 10 years younger.
Yeah, it does. It looks really good.
Yes,
Honestly, so thank you. So should we just hear it there for Dan and obviously Tom coming on? Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Come on.
Excellent. That is so good. Really. I'm coming to you for my new hairpiece.
Okay, so this is probably the most exciting thing that's happened to me in quite a while, and I have a very exciting life. Lara's actually going to come right next to me and do a little freestyle hair thing.
A little dance.
There he is.
A little dance.
So he's going to just give us a bit of a demo. So you're welcome back in, Lars. Come back in, Lars.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Good.
So, you know...
We'll have a little chat while you're doing it.
Yeah, no, please just go on, because for me...
I think just to explain to viewers, we just wanted to get a little bit of a feel of your work. 5 minutes, nothing too major, maybe a little bit fashion inspired, a bit behind the scenes, and then that's it. So, what are you going to do?
Well, exactly what you just said then. A bit of fashion. Last couple of seasons, we've seen hair transform from straight to curly. And, you know, all of a sudden, people are even talking about, dare I say, the perm.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so many people!
I knew that bell would ring in.
Oh man, I'm promoting the
It's going to be big.
So I'm just playing here. You know, if Eugene's watching me, God bless you, Eugene. I love you to bits. I know the wig cab's going on wrong, but you know, and to be honest with you, I love that guy. So I've been trying to get them back for years, and slowly they're making a little comeback.
Kevin Murphy's release.
The one I kind of helped develop many years ago that kind of seemed to be doing something was called the flat wave perm. Flat wave. Can you believe that one? Flat wave, whereby we would perm big rods off the face, kind of 1920s, Marlene Dietrich style, but you wouldn't set it. You would leave it to dry naturally, so the perm would be cut and tucked. So there was a trendy word where we would just tuck the hair as a finish. That would be a key point, and you'd have this lovely wave.
So this is what you get from experience, knowledge of this kind of stuff. You don't want to go and miss it. You're obviously doing a wig here. Is this you work on wigs a lot?
I work on wigs a lot. You know, I can't blame my half sisters because, you know, when I was about 8 or 9, I'd be in my football gear, ready to go and play with my mates. And if you just grab me very from it, and they would grab me back in, and I'd be still standing in my West Bromwich Albion kit.
Working at the garage.
I know, this is like my dream hair.
That is so brilliant. But I mean, obviously, this is great that you're doing wigs. So we're getting the two sides of we're having a hair system.
Yes.
And we're getting fashion, and that is the wigs are. So are you trained in wigs? Or did you just learn on the job?
Yeah, no, you can be trained in wigs, but I learnt on the job because of, again, a cultural thing with my parents. My mother, you know, first generation, off the Windrush, relaxed hair, only would wear wigs. When I'd go to Jamaica for a holiday, she'd send me over there, she'd pay for it because she knows. Oh, by the way, she's back in Jamaica. But I'd have to bring the wigs over and back. The best.
Help you go and get them and bring them back.
The best.
We'll just have a little
No, but she would. My favourite story of my mother is at the airport. Her hair is as white as mine, and with a wig on one side, it would slip slightly, and so excited. But she would have a dinner party with all the girls, and I would just reel them all out. Times have changed.
So what are you doing here then, Lars? Come on.
Well, I thought I'd pop one on, pop a little number on, because it's quite cool, and this young lady's absolutely. Let's be honest, she's beautiful. I just want to put my hands on her head, really, but with the eyelashes. But I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut it, and it's going to take me a couple of minutes to do.
So this is almost like cutting. Yeah, say black afro hair. Is it freehand? You're doing this? How you doing work?
You've just said it on the head. So afro hair. You need an afro comb. Brilliant point. For you, all you young guns out there, buying afro combs because you want to lift the hair out, and you can use your naturally curly hair. People with curly hair. Who have a tight ringlet to it. These are brilliant combs. Top tip, buy plastic, don't buy wood. If you buy the wooden afro combs, they're brilliant as kind of ornamentations, but they chip in the hair. The wood would chip, splits the hair.
Wow.
Right,
So I take my beautiful 4.5 length scissors and I look at my gorgeous lady and I go, it's a Sunday, I'm going to cut some hair. Then I come back and I drop one butt of it. I drop one butt of the end and I twist because I can and I come in. So if I had a mirror here, yeah, if I had a mirror. So this is an organic haircut. Yeah, this is freehand. You said the word, it's classic freehand haircutting. When I was trained at Suzzanne, back in the day, they would teach you every technique going. And then the teachers, I can name them all now, Flint Winthrop, Darryl Benson, I can name all those guys, send a quiver. They would come up to me and go, right, Lance, are you watching, Lance? I want you to check that whole haircut in and I want to keep it big. That's what they would do. And I would just go, I'm off. And all of a sudden I can do amazing.
How often do you work with wigs on session shoots, fashion shoots?
So, because we have the whole organic roadshow of Fashion Week 2 or 3 times a year, it's all wigs. Generally speaking, it's all wigs.
You still work on Fashion Week?
I do on occasions, and I like to go along and go, it's Lance, get over here. Yeah. You know, but I'll be behind a camera, but I'll go and do it. Because it's important to keep your hand in there. Mm-hmm. So Fashion Week starts again from the 14th, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're talking about that in our afternoon. Yeah, it's,
we'll be on.
Exciting, being part of the session world. What's it like? Give us a feel of it.
It's exciting knowing that you can produce something out of nothing on the day. So yes, as a key hairdresser, you have to draw out an idea, sit with a designer, come together on a look, practice the look together. They agree it, and then you have to go out to your team, perform that look, and then do it on 30 models. And it's a wonderful moment. In fact, going back to a couple of shows back in the day with Eugene, I remember doing McQueen. And I'm always thanking him for picking me to do that show. So every time he sees me, I'm always going, Eugene, thank you, thank you, thank you. It was the first show I'd seen French designers, people who've come to the McQueen show all in tears. It was an emotional moment, you know, to see the hair, the clothes. That moment where Kate would work from a little dot into a flow of smoke, and there she is. You know, we saw it at the V&A. I was actually there.
Wow.
Well, it was a film, but it looked great.
Minutes on here then, Lance. Okay. It's just kind of, it's just fun to see someone working away on this. And
what I really noticed is just watching the way that you deal with hair. I love your body language and the way you touch hair.
Nice.
And you made a point there, but where kids and people don't realise is I hold the scissors completely differently.
Yeah, I can see it from the side.
Can you just show the camera how you were holding your scissors there?
This is again, the original second generation Suzzanne hairdressers all know how to hold. So, okay, I'll put my scissors down. This is how I was taught. There's a line of students that would have to stand still. There's the chair. Raise your hands. It's like martial arts, but this is what we had to do. Horizontal out, pull them in, pull them out. They wanted flexibility in the wrists. And we had to learn all that, flexibility in the wrists. Then the next question was body language in relationship to the haircut, the head shape. So they'd draw a line, like a referee would do now. They'd stencil a line at the back, and they would tell you, that's your horizontal point. You know the body's round, the head is round. You have to move around it. So then they said, the teacher would go, put your scissors in the hand. Lance, there's your client is like your canvas. There's the mirror. Watch. It wasn't this.
Go on then, Lance.
It wasn't
Let's
this.
get that shape.
Thank you.
Put our little trims to that, because time is, unfortunately, always runs out.
Don't move your head down. I'm just going to do this.
You could sit here and watch hair. I always used to love going to shows, and I still love it. It's just to watch people cut hair and see where they go in the visual. And it's always just. Oh, it's a weird thing like this could be. It's a fun look, isn't it?
It's a rock and roll. It's a rock and roll look, to be absolutely honest.
I think that's sort of the whole fun.
Asymmetric fringe. My kind of initial idea for this 5-minute little get together was an Irish black man in a rock and roll band. And if anybody knows what I'm talking about.
What would they be drinking? Would they be drinking whiskey or would it be rum?
Yeah, no, whiskey.
Whiskey and rum.
That's a nice combination.
I thought that sounds like a music title.
That's an album, isn't it? Whiskey and rum. Look, before you finish as well, what was that question, Suzzanne, we wanted to ask?
Phlebotomy.
What, sorry?
Phlebotomy.
First of all, what is that?
What is that? Because you offer this service, don't you?
So, when you've been in the business for a while and you see how people lose hair, and you see, you see not just hair, but how we take care of ourselves and what we put into our own bodies, and then you see how people are selling wonder drugs and man-made drugs to heal, to regrow, to stimulate, and I thought, I'm no doctor. Okay? I thought, well, there must be an organic, healthy way to get better or to regenerate stuff. So I started to go to school in terms of medical school. And phlebotomy came up. And phlebotomy is an interesting word because basically all phlebotomy is, well, to be honest, we hairdressers have been phlebotomists from 200 years because the original barbers, if you wanted to have your teeth pulled or to be bloodlet, you'd go to a barber. So phlebotomy is based on the barbers of the day, and I now take your blood, officially, put it into a centrifuge, whisk it round and take out the plasma and inject it back into your scalp.
Wow, that's insane.
Is the results there to be seen?
This is the thing. The results are there, and this phlebotomy, this healing, PRP it's called, it's a healing thing. I can't say the whole word. You've got it written down there. But what's really, really nice about it...
You to help me out.
Yeah, no, thanks. The lips. But plasma research. But I have to say, it works. Say if you had achy pains, joint pains, you can inject into those certain areas and it would heal. Now, for hair regeneration is another story very quickly. The hair has to be still alive in certain places for it to stop the fallout and the regrowth.
Where hair growth is just completely gone. It's not going to...
Not there yet, but they're working on that.
Yeah, no, actually.
Yeah, not there yet.
Again, in my podcast, I interviewed Dr. Sharon Wong on hair loss, and she was absolutely fantastic on the subject. And she was talking about this hair loss that they're developing in Japan now, where they are actually
stem cells. Yeah, that's the one.
Right, we're going to have to almost bring us to
it.
It looks just fun. This is cool.
So, do you know what we should do? Very quickly, we should just stand up and take the gown off because you've got a great little jacket on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know it's a bit of fun.
She's so beautiful anyway. She'll work anyway. There we go. So stand up. Let's work it. Well done.
Woo! Oh no! Come on, 5 minutes. All I'm trying to do is motivate a couple of people. You know, if my boys.
Look at you.
Cool.
Show the Chloe. Yeah. Come on.
Wow, that is incredible.
Brilliant.
Oh, wow.
I feel like we've got a different sass.
That is quite...
Well done. No, honestly, thank you. Brilliant.
No. You know what's really lovely? Meeting you three and Mr. Cameraman. So today I don't mind. It's good. I really enjoyed it. Thank you. Yes. There you go.
Lance, thank you so much. I know we were going to have you around for the Style
no worries.
Challenge, but time has run
all
out.
good.
So thank you so much to Lance coming on. It's been an
great.
absolute pleasure.
Never
and
take
our
that off.
conversation and our
I've got to do
connection
a picture. Thank you very much, man. Okay.
We will make sure we have all our links.
See you soon.
Okay. So we have come to the challenge part of the show. This is why they are blindfolded. And their task is, in 1 minute, who can, with their clippers, who can cut the straightest fringe closest to the eyebrow.
Okay.
Is that right?
Is this safe? I mean,
no,
is
this
this
not safe, and do not do this at home. I might die, But anyway, okay. Are you guys ready? Do you know where it is in front of you?
Oh, well,
Kind of.
there she is, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Tell me when we're ready.
Yeah?
And go!
Okay, so
Oh my god.
face, eyebrows.
Okay.
Am I going to cut my hand off here? Hang
I
on.
need to.
There we go.
Oh, I heard.
There's-
That's very amazing. Okay. Oh, she lost an eye.
okay, let's go down.
That's not looking bad, actually.
Whose is good? Is mine good?
Yeah, this is fantastic. Oh, lost an eyebrow.
She lost an eyebrow.
How much time have we got, guys?
I mean,
We're probably at like the 30-second mark.
30-second mark.
But
yeah.
I mean, they're both looking fantastic already.
Do you know what?
Look at that zhuzh.
I'm gonna go with that. I'm happy.
Okay, we're done.
I'm happy. 10 seconds. I'll do some layers. I'll do some layers.
Oh
I'll do some layers.
My goodness.
I'll do some layers as well. You know?
Stop.
Okay.
Oh,
Did we win?
Oh, stop it. God, it's so sweet.
Oh,
That's really good.
oh, just a little bit of zhuzh.
Okay, shall we just take the heads off?
Oh.
So let's just give the camera a little bit. So this is.
I mean,
do you want to get down?
if you can't laugh at yourself, eh?
I mean,
I've
seen
how
even
I did
worse.
it with my hands open.
I'd be proud of that for you.
Yeah. Do you know though? Considering, ain't too bad.
Yeah,
Good.
it's not too bad.
Authentic. Yeah. So who won? Hang on. So who's won? Who's?
Oh no. He's even got like a slight concave just to go with the head shape.
I contoured.
Okay.
Maybe a host on the show today, but honestly.
So is the rules that it has to be closest to the
I
eyebrow?
wanted it close to the eyebrow.
As close to the eyebrow.
Okay.
Straight as possible.
Straight as possible.
I mean, I think Dan was very lucky with this model. This hair, I mean, she's got a cow's lick from hell.
Have you ever done that? Where you cut a fringe dry? Never cut a fringe dry. Boom.
Again, let's just have a look. I know where my decision, but this is your decision. It's your style challenge.
Oh my gosh, I feel really I'm sorry, I'm going to have to do this one.
Yay! But we did all right.
Like,
We
she
did.
looks bad.
Thanks, guys. I've had such a great time.
Yeah, thank
Such
you
a
so much
great
for coming
time.
in. We
Good.
had such good
Honestly,
fun.
style challenge. That brings us more or less to the end of episode 2 of the hair show. Haven't we had a great time?
We've had the best time.
It's been so good.
Do you know what? I can't wait to see it.
You enjoyed it?
I have had such a fantastic day. Thank you so much.
Obviously, Lance isn't here, but a big thank you to Lance as well. And obviously, we want to say, Jordana, get well soon. I'm sure when you see
Miss
this,
you.
we'll do it. But massive thank you
Thanks
to
for having
Suzzanne,
me.
who's come in on literally such short notice to be here. And it's been incredible. Honestly, I've had such a wonderful day. And I think we've got to say thank you as well to Lacey and the team. And Ruth, who's sat out in the back there, she's probably hear us, but for sitting here all day, putting up with us. The Hunter Collective, an amazing space for self-employed hairdressers to come and work, a members-only club. And highly recommend you listen to my podcast again to listen to that interview with Lacey. It's really good. So we're going to have episode 3, where that's going to be coming in March. So to make sure that you don't miss this, subscribe down below. You will need that, and leave us some comments. I think it'd be great to have some feedback on there. And tell everybody about the show. And also, just before as well, and I haven't done it, Joanne, but Daniel has also just give a little bit of help to this the show as well to make this possible. So thank you, Dan. For
you're welcome. You're very welcome.
It's been so good. And you can't see him, but he is there. Give us a nod, Dan. Are you there? Yeah? Yeah, he's there. So thank you to Dan. He worked so tirelessly hard behind the background. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing you all next time.
See you next time.